Greetings, my friends, and welcome to another adventure in the world of Kriegeland. Okay, near that evening, you guys start to see on the distance, and they talk about Sisnia's landing coming up. You start to see like the rocky islands of and they said they'll probably get there sometime in the night or pass by sometime in the night, but they will be passing by one of the islands that's part of Sisnia's landing. It's an island of gambling and pirate debauchery, and it's called Pleasure Island. So they're like, some of the sailors are like, hey, if you guys want to, see if we can see anything as we're sailing by. Like there's always something going on Pleasure Island. So you guys are gonna pass by, and in the night as you're sleeping and you're getting closer to Sisnia's landing, if anyone wants to be up, they can start seeing the map of it as it comes up. I'm gonna pull up a map of it, but at some point in the night, there's a sudden jarring force, and the ship is like turned suddenly and wild. Is anyone out on the deck at this time?
I probably am. If nothing else, I probably fell asleep in the crow's nest.
So what? Yeah. So you get jarred awake and kind of look out. You can see that the ship is now turning sharply, and this kind of sea canal that you were passing through, there's like a boat stopping chain net that's being pulled up between two towers. So this is Sisnia's landing. You guys are passing by J, which is Pleasure Island, and you would be normally cutting across in between there and heading past the island that's known as New Moon Citadel. The captain and the royal guards all talk about that. So up at the top of the image there, you can see that there's a few sections. All of the outer islands are the places where there's docks and ports and things for ships to actually come in. The big inner island, or all the outer islands, the big inner island is like the main hub where they don't have ships actually come into that area. They have them that you dock on the outer ends of wherever you're landing, and then you'll come across like certain bridges or whatever. You're on your way between I and K when the rulers of K, New Moon Citadel, it's a dark elf controlled portion of the city. And they apparently, and the captain and the royal guards didn't know this, they apparently recently built their own chain net to go across that they can pull up, and they've pulled it up to antagonize the forces of Kriegeland. The other chain nets exist and have existed up in the northern part as a way to keep buffers and prevent the Dark Elves, because the Dark Elves of New Moon Citadel have like a little pirate fleet, and so they try to keep them from antagonizing the rest of the island. So they explain that because the route they were going to take got cut off suddenly and they have to turn back around, the ship's going to have to tack against the shoreline up and around and all the way back over, and they're going to lose at least a day of just turning back around and getting out of this rocky stone wasteland instead of like cutting through a nice shortcut, because the Dark Elves just decided to be jerks and to pull up their new chain net to show off and to flex a little bit. So some of the crew, some of the crew that are off for the morning, the captain has given them permission. They're going to take a couple of rowboats out from the ship and land in what's known as the Undercommons area. So how the city is built is the Kingdom of Kriegeland and the nobility of Kriegeland are in control of Homeport, which is Island A, and that's the area where you would actually dock in, check in, and then there's like a wooden bridge that leads from that. Then there's actual nobility and the Kingdom of Kriegeland's corner of sovereignty in the city. In Sisnia's Landing is the Moonspire Castle. Mithril Rock is a dwarven kingdom on its own. It's its own dwarven kingdom, and they have like a pretty ample mithril mine on that island, which is why there's a dwarf kingdom there now. So they ship things across to Craftsman Corner and sell stuff there. The Commons is just the area where the city folk all live and the shops exist. The Undercommons is the area across the wall. That's where you guys will be landing. If you would like to go with the crew to hang out on Sisnia. They're going to hang out for a day while the ship gets pulled back around, and then they're going to meet you guys back at home port the next day. So you got a day to kill in the city if you want to leave the ship. Stretch your legs, as it were. But the Undercommons area is where there's kind of seedier part of the city. There's a lot more dark elf influence, and some of the darker gods have a little bit more sway there, which is why the wall is built halfway across the island like that. And in the middle of the wall, which is the gateway, is Graysworn Gate, which is a big Omni temple, Graysworn Omni temple that acts as like the conduit between the sections of town, but then acts as the reminder of the neutrality of what the city is supposed to represent. And then Pleasure Island, which is off of the coast of Dunghovel there. Dunghovel is the area of slums from people that are ruined by Pleasure Island, but are kicked off of Pleasure Island because they no longer have money. Pleasure Island is just a giant pirate, essentially a pirate's amusement park. Just gambling and booze and prostitution as far as the eye can see. That's where a lot of the sailors are talking about going. Do you want to go check out Sisnia's Landing, or do you want to stay on the ship and let it tack around to the outside?
Let's check it out.
Yeah, why not?
Joseph?
I've been on the ship forever anyway.
Been a couple days on the ship. Probably feel good to...
Board of the ship.
Who's to say that we don't find the guy that we're looking for on Pleasure Island availing himself?
That's true. Tuck could be on Pleasure
That's a good
Island.
Just
I
look at
mean,
the ring.
what?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, Valerio hooked you guys up with some magic rings that will glow brighter the closer you get to Tuck. And the direction, the ring hasn't made much of a difference. It's kind of kept not really much of a light, but it's slightly gone up as you've been sailing out. So you at least are kind of going in the right direction to start. But yeah.
Pretty much just going to tell him if he's in the room next to us, and that's about it.
Well, it's a subtle global scale of how that light burns and grows and shrinks. So, might be hard to tell the difference between like 3 miles and, or like 33 miles and 35 miles away. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. It wouldn't hurt to go and just see if a person, Tuck, who just came into a lot of money, is using that money to come into a lot of women. And
That's one way to say it.
and if not, then that island seems to appeal to people of a more dubious work life, shall we say, who might be able to provide information.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
So let's
It's worth
say
looking at,
let's
that's
say
what I'm saying.
there's 2 rowboats. One's gonna just dock onto the like undercommon side of the main island. One's gonna head to Pleasure Island. Where do you guys want to go?
I'll go to Pleasure Island.
Just you? I'll go for us.
Me
Don't
too.
worry.
Why not?
Stovar?
I guess we'll stick together.
Okay, you guys head to Pleasure Island, and the rowboat sails into the bay and into the dock. There's ferries constantly like hustling back and forth. They kind of pull up and pay a couple of silver to hold a spot on a little dock, and the sailors just, well, we'll see you guys, tomorrow, or probably like later tonight. We gotta like get back to home port so that we're back in time or whatever. But they go running off to their favorite drinking lounge, and you guys are there. And sure enough, it'd be like a small town sized. So yeah, a small town, like a large amusement park of just red light districts and drinking halls and gambling halls and fighting pits and all of the beautiful, immoral, degenerate, sometimes illegal actions that would be frowned upon by the populace of Kriegeland. They are roaring happily here on Pleasure Island.
Well, I feel like I need to take a bath already.
That's what prestidigitation's for.
Yes, it is.
It is what it's for. The main use of that spell.
That's right. That's right.
It does two things. It flavors my food and keeps me clean.
Yep. Okay, so the first thing, just as a reference, Brog, Giles, and Biggs took the other boat to the Undercommons, and
Perfect.
you heard Brog mention something about like he's like staring at Pleasure Island. You guys are like kind of rowing in the same direction for a little while, and he was like staring at Pleasure Island, and Giles is like, Brog, it's okay. It's not the right move. Don't go over there. And he's all like, I know the Zarelite way is to practice discipline, but you could tell he just wants to go barbarian out so hard, especially after his ego bruising from earlier. So he's just like, Giles like, no, it's better. We'll check in on town and see if our rings glow brighter anywhere in the city or anywhere that they can find. And anyway, yeah.
We'll let you know how it is, bro.
You hear in the night sky as you guys pull in. Okay, so what's everyone's plans here? I guess what's everyone's priorities here on the island?
Look around, find some good booze. Probably berate someone for selling like bad booze.
Oh, most of it's real bad. There's like grog tents where the groggers build a little like, carnival tent attraction. And their whole shtick is that they have people going around and finding unfinished drinks and pouring them into one giant mug that they then bring back and they sell to the grog tenters, who then pour it into a giant vat, stir it all together, and then serve you whatever that is.
You see, I'm fine with that. As long as they're like marketing it as trashy alcohol.
Okay.
Like if they're saying,
this
is the finest wine.
Okay,
like
So it's not not low quality is acceptable as long as they're honest about it.
As long as, yeah.
Okay, I can get behind that.
If
All
they say
right.
it's good booze, and I say, no, that's garbage.
All right, roll it. I'm going to do, let's see. I want to say, I think this has to be, I think this has to be investigation.
Oh.
So is this going to be one of those things where he's reading the sign and he goes, "Oh, okay, well, no, I agree with that." Me and Stova look at him and go, "I didn't know you could read."
Probably getting ironically enough, the druid is probably the most barbarian like of everyone. Brog's like trying to stop being a barbarian.
That are playing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a 17 investigation.
Okay.
Not as good at that.
There's definitely you run into someone peddling what they consider to be like fine elvish wine, which isn't even your taste or your jam at all, but you could sniff out a fraud elvish wine like that. And it's just like cheap crap that's from from Sisnia's Landing, just imported from wherever, whenever kind of thing.
This isn't even made from good berries. You are selling absolute garbage.
Hey man, come on! I'm just trying to make a living here.
Get out of my profile is all wrong.
Get out of my face! It's like making a scene. It draws a little bit of a crowd. Some people are giving some shifty eyes and wander about. What is your initial intention here, Joseph? I assume you guys are at least clustered together and wandering about together and just kind of checking it out, and then Bird stops in and yells at a falsified elvish winery.
That was my point in coming, like to not split the party.
Yeah. Okay.
I feel like we should hang out together, because given the clientele of the area, like things could get bad, and we could need backup.
Yeah, for sure.
My character's definitely got some severe ADHD, so he's gonna wander off a bit. But he always as long as people are like pulling him back.
You're like Gandalf, like you'll wander off and they don't even realize it for 45 minutes, and then suddenly you like reappear and you're like, wait, you were gone
back and I'm drunk. And...
All right, so Joseph and Stovar, we'll start with you, Joseph. Is there something you want to like stop in on or talk to these guys about or something while you guys are wandering about?
I feel like if I just, I don't know, talk to people and just, buy a beer here,
Oh, so you
buy
want
a
to do
beer
the
there.
like politician run. You
Basically,
kind of want to
and just,
you want to start making it that same, because you had that good similar plan in Crest Call where you got the commoners to be cheering for you. You want to start planting those types of seeds while you're here? Is that the idea?
yes, I want
Okay.
people to refer to me as the man of the people out here as well.
Okay.
But also I can start spreading like the story about how the one person got turned on by their team, and
Oh,
it's
you want to out the like situation of the tournament.
More just like seeding some rumors about, I'm guessing.
Well,
yeah, yeah,
yeah, because as of right now, it's not been like publicly announced the way that the tournament has been like magically broadcast. So if you let me, I need to. I'm asking like how much are you giving away, and are you like looking for info, or are you intending to spread that info?
it's gonna be a little bit of both.
Okay.
'Cause I need people to know that we're out here doing two things. One, we want the people to know the people that they're standing behind and rooting for, and doing like a bit of a victory tour thing, but also uh, we have taken a small break from the games in order to show our good faith to the kingdom and hunt down a fugitive for the
Oh,
king,
so
someone
so
who,
no details of who's involved. You're not gonna like say that. Are you gonna start asking people if they've heard of like Tuck the Druid? Do you want to? Are you gonna
yeah,
leave that?
I'll say that we're looking for Tuck.
Okay. Because he would be known as one of the potential candidates. So like that's where you're adding a level of, oh, one of the heroes is now a fugitive.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah,
spend as much gold as you're gonna spend on buying drinks. The scale is a grog tent. Grog is like 1 copper. Something like the elven wine glass is probably 1 silver. And then something that's actually pretty good is probably like 4 silver at most. So basically, just
okay.
whatever you decide to spend is how much drinks you're pushing out to the people while you're doing your schmooze. Spend that money and then roll your. I guess it would be persuasion because you're not lying to anyone.
Yeah, yeah. I think we're gonna do
Maybe
persuasion
even
on that for sure.
performance.
Could be performance if it's a little bit of like telling the tale and aggrandizing your guys's which yeah, I would
We're gonna go with persuasion.
persuasion.
Yeah.
Um, yes. So I'm going to spend 20 gold.
Ooh, okay,
Um,
nice.
and we're going to do a mixture of some of like the good stuff, but the bird has to sign off that it's actually the good stuff.
So
We're
you're
not,
gonna start you use Bird to like sniff
Gotcha.
out good stuff and start filtering people in and like come follow us and you can get to the good stuff and like let me tell you about hanging out with the heroes and stuff like that and what we're up to.
Like popping
exactly.
every bottle, just
This'll do. This'll do.
Yeah,
A lot of
exactly.
the
Yeah,
alcohol vendors are getting salty as you guys are passing through because they're all like getting mad at like this guy who's coming like connoisseuring and like it's like when
hey,
state comes to do a evaluation on a building or something and you're like, oh man, these guys. Like,
Not
you know
our
who's
fault you don't
marketing?
have good stuff.
You know what?
exactly.
It's not necessarily whether you have good stuff or not. It's just as long as the quality that you're selling matches the quality you're advertising. That's all he's doing.
I
And
That's
so,
all I'm
understand
going
they
for.
do not see it this way. That's all I'm saying.
Well, that's because
you
their
know what?
quality
The
sucks.
people that we're buying from are probably more than happy that I'm dropping money, and I'm dropping big money.
Yes, it's the bird judgments that's the hard part for them. So there's obviously a mixture. Some of them are more than happy to just give you guys a round of sweet grog or whatever else going on. Stovar, what are you? Oh yeah, what did your roll get?
I got a dirty 20.
Nice. Stovar, while this is kind of occurring, what are your like thoughts and intentions, and what are you paying attention to, and what are you all about?
Well, does it sound like anybody knows?
Are any of Stovar's vices calling to him?
Like stogies? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. You're probably out about this time around now. It's been a few.
I bought a ton.
Well, it's been like several days though. How many are you smoking a day, or is it just when you say I light one up?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I feel like you said Stovar always has one in his mouth.
Yeah. Okay. I need some stogies.
Yeah. Oh, dude, this place has all sorts of shops for that. So.
Okay.
The good ones like packed by virgins.
Yeah. Want to find some good ones. I don't know. I don't think any women are calling to him. He's kind of got a thing for Jody, even though she shut him down.
That's good. Well, yeah, and it's mostly like human and half elf women, which is like,
yeah.
But
I just had an idea. Not only am I handing out like beer, I'm using prestidigitation to change and make all of the beer taste better that I hand out to people.
No, that's so good. Magically enhanced tasting beer.
You're already making sure it's good before.
Okay.
And then you're making it even better.
So you can spend whatever you want, Stovar, for the quality. It's like a premier, absolute top tier, which they do have. The stogie spread is a little bit better than the alcohol spread. Because of the what the place represents and what they have access to. So you're looking at 1 gold for 1 is like the Crown Royal level.
Okay.
Like the kings are smoking this.
I'll get 3 of those, but I'm not smoking those unless it's a special occasion.
Okay, so you're saying those ones you are gonna say I'm only gonna have these when I say I have them. Okay, so then are you getting a bunch of silver piece ones then too, as your just general stock?
Yeah.
Silver piece would be like mid-tier. Like it's a pretty good one.
Like 1 silver is mid-tier?
Yeah. 1 silver
Okay, I'll get like 40 of those.
Okay.
So that's like what?
So
4 gold?
So that was 7 gold total.
Okay. We're good.
Okay.
And then I'm going to have to get drinks and stuff too, so I'll get 2 golds worth of drinks, like if we're through the night, like 4 or 5 drinks.
Yeah. Same kind of like scaling. Grog is a copper.
I'm getting the nice stuff.
Okay. So, but the nicest thing they have in general is going to be like 4 silver a drink.
Yeah, so if I get 5 of those through the night, it's like 2 gold.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You guys do a general pass of Pleasure Island. You see what there is to see. You don't do everything there is to do, but there's not all the time in the world tonight. Joseph sows some good seeds. You guys have fun. You can stay here for the night or ferry back to town and try to get a more reputable inn in like the actual regular city. At some point, like a messenger, one of the shipman messengers comes and talks to you guys and is like, hey, they're passing around a little bit better than they thought. And so like by tomorrow morning, they should be at Homeport restocking and ready to go kind of thing. So,
okay.
So you guys have the night. You just need to be back to the docks of Homeport by dawn or not, morning. They didn't say dawn specifically. But the tuck ring does not glow. So if there's more you want to do on Pleasure Island, we can still do it. You can let me know. But but for the general manhunt and what's going on, nothing really goes down while you're out there. Unless you guys force some down happening, which anyway.
Oh, just getting blackout drunk.
Okay. Yeah, are you guys going to stay on Pleasure Island or are you going to sail back or like ferry back and go stay somewhere else?
Well, other than sowing seeds for us, were able to get any intel? Anyone hear anything?
Let me think.
Would that be an investigation role? That's separate from sowing the seeds.
Yeah, sure. If you roll good enough, even if there's like the tiniest thing, there's not a big connection between Tuck the Druid and the populace of Kriegeland, so.
Can I aid or assist him?
Yeah, I guess you're probably asking questions. Sure.
Use the help action.
And you can give him guidance.
1d4.
Yeah, there you go. Now we're talking.
That's your D4.
Hey, so get an extra D4 and roll with advantage, because Stovar's gonna like help or aid in it. That's good. If that was like the main goal of the night is to like try to get something if you can.
Every skill check, I could have just guidance.
24 is the total on the roll.
You meet some guys, some kind of swamp ratty type guys. They're from Bogfly Bay, and they're here just. Right. They say they have their own little like skiff that they sailed out here for themselves, and then we'll get back to the wives and the fishing eventually. But they know Tuck. He passed through when he came out of the swamps. I guess that's not new information, but because you found these guys and they have this information, they're willing to. Well, you know what? They'll draw you out like a map. They draw you out a map of the swamps that they have on them. That they're like, he came from these swamps. It's pretty well known to us. It's dangerous, wild, wilderness, but like, it's like we know it pretty well. So you guys will have a map of the swamps when you get there. And so whoever wants to write that down, it's just a physical piece of paper that would go in your inventory. Joseph, I'm guessing you'll take it. You're kind of the bookkeeper in general. The Bookkeeper is a great title for your character when you start putting some more legendary actions under your belt. They call him the Bookkeeper.
And I'm in the corner. This snake won't bite me. You know why? My blood is 98% alcohol.
You guys are on your way there. Okay, so then the last question would be, are you staying here for the night, or are you taking a ferry back to the city, to Sisnia's Landing?
I'm thinking we should take a ferry back. What do you think, guys?
Sure.
I have no preference. I'm wasted. You might have to drag me somewhere.
That's what we were doing the whole night anyway.
Yeah.